Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review, and next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series X-Men House of X, Marvel's Tri-Sentinel Build-A-Figure wave. Here we have Jean Grey herself, Marvel Girl. So this is kind of a throwback, old school. She went by Marvel Girl before. Hasbro actually released a Marvel Girl figure in the past. I don't even remember what wave it is, but I'm sure it was a piece of shit because a lot of the old Hasbro Marvel Legends, they just didn't quite get them right in terms of tooling, sculpt, articulation, basically everything. That figure could be decent. I honestly have no idea. I'm trying to think back. I think it may have been in a 2-pack with cable or something exclusive to Walmart. So I have no idea. So unfortunately, I won't be doing a comparison there, but I will show this Jean Grey versus next to this, my go-to Jean Grey, and for the hell of it, the Dark Phoenix. So at least we'll get something in here. But here is Marvel Girl. She comes with the Krakoan plant, which is pretty cool because that is pretty important to the story. So not bad. We got the Tri-Sentinel Build-A-Figure leg in their side artwork of Marvel Girl looking really awesome. Jean Grey. Here on the back of the package, we get that awesome artwork there as well. The bio reads, Marvel Girl leads her fellow mutants to the island sanctuary of Krakoa in a bid to declare sovereignty from humankind. So pretty cool. Let's get this opened up. Okay, so here is the Marvel Girl Jean Grey figure out of the package, and this is probably not going to be a very long video because there's really not a whole lot to talk about on this figure. It's probably going to be my least favorite of the wave, and that's even coming from, you know, the very basic lackluster Charles Xavier. This figure really doesn't have a whole lot of things going for it, other than classic Marvel Girl suit. That's pretty cool. But really, that's all we got. But anyway, Tri-Sentinel Build-A-Figure piece we have here. This is looks like the right leg there, and it is very, 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 very thin. It's only a little bit thicker than Jean Grey's legs herself, but you can see how tall it is. It comes up to over her elbow, so we're going to stick that off to the side and take a look at that later. In terms of the accessories that Marvel Girl comes with, she has interchangeable hands. Now, these are the same hands that we see with every single female figure ever released. So, same hands. On the figure itself, she has fists. So we just get these open hands there, which is okay. But here we get the Krakoan plant, and I think it has a name. I forget what it is, but this plant is extremely useful. They plant this in several different places around the world, which opens up kind of, I guess, a portal to get back to Krakoa. Certain things, they also use this plant for various different medicines and things. So a lot of cool things. So it's a nice accessory that we get with it, and it looks pretty good. We just get this marbleized little base there for the plant. We get some blue paint in there. The plant itself looks pretty good, purple and green. Now it looks very rounded, but there is a very small flat section right there to help get it to stand up, and it's kind of tricky. You have to really just get it right, otherwise it's just going to kind of roll around. So there we have it. So that kind of works out. There it is. So now let's take a closer look at Marvel Girl. Okay, so here is the up-close look at Marvel Girl. So again, there's not a whole lot really going on in there. Her eyes, her lipstick, it's all painted nicely. You can actually get a little bit of eyebrow in there that matches her hair color. The hair sculpt itself is pretty good. We just get this nice orange color. There is some lighter orange in there to kind of highlight it and give it some texture and depth look to it. So that is pretty cool. One really weird thing there is the exposed portion there. Let me see if I can get some light. So you could see her ear. It just kind of looks funny. It's just weird. It's like, really, would the hair kind of just be parted out? But I guess if the hair is kind of behind her ear, except this really doesn't give it the effect. It just looks like it's a big hole in where her hair would be. So you can kind of see the exposed ear, which is just kind of weird. Gloves look pretty good. The belt itself looks pretty good, and it's painted nicely with the red X, the yellow. The belt itself is black, and then the loops in her dress are green, and that is all painted nicely. So kudos there to Hasbro for getting that. But then we get to the lower legs. So the plastic of the lower legs is actually yellow. So you can kind of see the yellow come through on some parts because the skin tone paint just kind of gets a little wonky around some of these joints, and you can see that yellow coming through It's not that big of a deal. It's a little nitpicky, but it is something that's kind of noticeable. And then here we have the shoes, and then one thing that's weird about the shoes is it's supposed to be like one whole boot, and yet the sculpt of a shoe, so this would be like the foot, the top of the foot, but it's just all yellow as if this is all one boot. So it's just kind of funky, because really it should be one whole piece. You shouldn't have this sculpted portion there, but pretty minor, I guess, overall, but it's definitely just kind of lazy. Let's just paint it all one color and just call it a boot, even though it's like a shoe. But anyway, so let's zoom out. Let's look at her articulation. There's really not a lot to talk about there either. Okay, so Marvel Girl's articulation. She has long hair. That's going to be a problem. Now, the other problem is the hair comes in front, too. So getting her to look down, that's going to be a challenge, because the hair is just going to hit her torso and her arm. Same over here. So not only can she not look up, she can't look down. She can only kind of move it that much. So be careful. I think my buddy Anthony, he popped the hair off on his We Are Figures. You guys might follow him on Instagram. He popped the hair off of his, so be very careful. We get some head pivot going on in there, and then you get some rotation, but the hair really hinders and gets in the way, and you just kind of have to work it over and around to be able to do that. If you wanted to, you can get the arm to go up that high. You get a full rotation. We have a single jointed elbow with the swivel at the elbow, and we can get the bend going just under 90 degrees that way, and then you can actually bend it, hyperextend it a little bit, but the upper arm piece kind of comes down a little bit lower to kind of prevent you from doing that. This figure is a little bit different in the torso, so we actually get some new parts. So instead of the diaphragm joint, we actually get the waist ball rocker there. So her whole upper body is kind of one piece. So it's really limited movement, but the female figures, even with the diaphragm joint, were extremely limited also. But she can pivot to the side a little bit, but you're really going to see the breakup in the other piece of the plastics there. So you just kind of have to really work how you're going to want to hide how that's going to look. Pivot to the other side that much. Going back is not a whole lot, but then when you do that, you see the breakup of the two pieces there, and you can see that ball peg that's holding it in place. So it's kind of funky. Coming forward, she can do, but then looking at the back of the figure, you see that real big gap there. But you know, it's different, but you know, it doesn't give us improved over what we normally get. And you get the swivel at that waist. Legs go out, see, that far apart kind of, and then it just goes right back. So there's a little slit here in the dress to allow for some movement. However, there isn't one on the other side, so it's really not going to give you a whole lot of movement there. So getting the leg to come forward, you're going to get that much. So extremely limited. There is an upper thigh cut in there though, but again, I mean, you're not going to get a whole lot of use out of any of these moving parts in the legs. You do get a double jointed knee like so. Of course, there is no calf swivel. Foot hinges all the way down, which is good. Hinges up quite a bit, which is cool. Ankle pivot and peg holes at the bottom of the feet all the way at the toe, which is normally where we would see it in the middle of the foot, but it's kind of pushed up there. So Marvel Girl, dynamic poses, not really going to happen, but the figure aesthetically looks good, just kind of standing there. So let's see how she looks next to some other Jean Grey figures. There's been so many Jean Grey figures, but really these two are my favorite. This one's not even gonna, no, we're just not even gonna talk about it after this video. It's cool because it fits the theme of House of X, and it's classic Marvel Girl, but it just doesn't do anything for me because execution of the figure just really isn't that good. It's just so limited. But the next to the Love Triangle Jean Grey there, and the Dark Phoenix Toys R Us exclusive that came with Cyclops, you guys can let me know down in the comments below which one is your favorite Jean Grey, and I'm sure it's going to be either that one or Dark Phoenix, but you guys let me know what you think of the Marvel Girl figure. So not going to go into any kind of final thoughts, because I just don't really have a whole lot of final thoughts. It's just not a very good figure. You know, it looks good, but it's just not all that great. But you guys can let me know, you know, what your thoughts on the figure are. Again, I really like the themed concept. So when you have a particular storyline, and it really fits, and you can get, you know, how those characters looked within that storyline, I think that's awesome, and definitely a nice touch. But it's just, this figure in particular just kind of you know, it just doesn't move. There's just no movement to it, which is you know, unfortunate. But looking at her, how she compares to some of the other figures in this wave that I have looked at so far, which is just these 4, you can see that she is actually just a tad bit taller than Wolverine, and that's really because her hair kind of sticks out a little bit. But here, the wave, again, is looking really nice as I drop everything, as I kind of finish up with this video without doing too many cuts and adding in all these different clips. It's a solid wave because of the theme, but Marvel Girl is definitely going to be at the bottom of my ranking when it gets to it, and I just cannot get any of these damn figures to stand up next to each other so you can see how they look all together. So the magic of video, normally it would just cut, edit, reshoot a clip, but you know, this is the real world. This is what happens at midnight as I try and film and get him to stand. So House of X is coming along nicely. Tri-Sentinel will be awesome, but Marvel Girl is just the lowest in the ranking for me. But you guys let me know down in the comments below. Marvel Girl, Jean Grey, and Wolverine right there. And I guess they're an item in there, or with Cyclops also, right? So when we get to Cyclops, we'll see how the 3 look together. It'll be interesting. But anyway, if you guys like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.